Hey everyone, you are listening to Vocalo Radio. I'm Jesse Menendez.
I'm Jill Hopkins.
Joining us in studio from the Chicago production of Stomp are Artis Olds, Carlos Thomas, Krystal Renee, and Yvonne Salazar. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. So when we're talking about Stomp, a performance and production that utilizes the body and movement and dance and percussion, what's it like as a performer to have to convey sentiments and emotions like laughter and humor without using words?
You know, that's the thing that we really love about the show. We have the chance to just kind of encompass all the arts and put them into one show. We believe that music is a universal language and it translates to so many different people. So we have the chance to do that on stage every single night.
Now, much like Liam Neeson, being in the cast of Stomp requires a very particular set of skills. You're marrying a lot of percussion, a lot of choreography, like you mentioned, a lot of nonverbal acting. What brought you four to the Stomp stage? How did your journey end you up here on the stage of the Broadway Playhouse?
I mean, I think we all have a different journey. For me, I saw the show relatively young, and I just fell in love with it. After like a week later, I just made up my mind that I had to be in that show and do everything that I could to be in that show. And so that meant auditioning and waiting for 6 years and just practicing in my basement, but I made it happen, and I don't know. I think we all have different stories for that.
Carlos?
Yeah, I used to play instruments in my church. And I played drums and I played organ and sung in a choir. But I always found myself always still preferring to bang on things that weren't real instruments, like, trash cans or, at the school banging on my locker. I got a kick out of doing that a lot more. And then I saw Stomp and I was like, there it is. That's what I've been looking for. So I had to do it.
Renee, were you also banging on lockers in preparation for your performance in Stomp?
Well, my story was a little bit different than that. I was doing stepping, which is a form of body percussion, and I really loved that.
Oh, we're from Chicago. You don't got to tell us about stepping.
See, you already know. So Stomp for me was the only show that incorporated that and movement and all types of unique rhythms I had never heard before, too. And so, I mean, it's just amazing being able to be here and learn from the drummers, too.
And again, going back to what I asked Artis, is it a challenge as a performer to convey all the nuances of a performance while not speaking lines and telling the audience that you're happy, sad, or other?
Well, I think that part of performing is connecting with the audience, So every time we're on stage, we're doing something where we connect with each other, and there are people from different backgrounds, all walks of life here. And so someone may give you a smile or something, or another dancer might kind of get down with you, and then you guys do that together. And people have different feels too. So if someone's maybe Brazilian, they'll play in that kind of style, and then you connect with them and find how to play with them. It's very fun. We do the same thing with the audience.
Earlier you talked about the universal language that is dance and rhythm. I'm looking at 4 people of color standing here who will be presenting this production to Chicago. What's it been like being part of this diverse cast? Yvonne?
The message in the show that the rhythm is universal. So it's like, yes, you see this is what this is just the people that we pick. But when you come see the show, there's black, there's white, there's Asian, there's everything. There's really skinny people, there's big, thick people, there's short people, really tall people. Everybody can do this. So that's the thing. And I think it's a great message considering how things are right now in the world, that you come and see this and see all these different walks of life getting together as like one person.
Well, the first time I saw Stomp, I, like you, was a young person back in the late 1900s. They opened here at the Schubert Theater, as it was known then. It's now the Private Bank Theater, where Hamilton is playing right now. And back then, shows like Stomp and Rent were kind of like Hamilton, ushering in a new kind of theater for people who weren't necessarily musical theater fans, who weren't necessarily going to see Fiddler on the Roof or Sound of Music or anything like that. Have those fans stuck with you, and have you gotten new fans out of this who are also not your typical quote-unquote theater goers?
Yeah, we get that all the time. I get people that come to the show and they say, oh, my son, he's into football, but we dragged him here to New York City. We came to the show and he loved it. It's a perfect show for people that aren't like what you think your typical, theater goers to go to the show. Also, like you said, back in the day when Rent was really popular, that's when Stomp was like brand new. When that happened, it opened the genre and the doors for other shows to be successful using the same kind of concept, like Tap Dogs or Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk, Blue Man Group. Those, Stomp was the original thing to open that door so all those other shows can, have a voice in the theater community.
Considering the legacy that Stomp has, being on various stages across the world, what's it like being a part of this cast and being part of this iteration of such a storied production?
Well, I'm just honestly really proud, and I love getting to go on stage and performing everywhere. I've gotten to go to a lot of places. There's a European tour as well. I haven't fortunate enough to be on that, but I have been in New York and done about 3 tours. This is my 3rd tour. And I think it's a privilege. It's great to meet so many different people and get to know the world.
Yeah. Artists, is that feeling augmented by the fact you are performing in front of your hometown?
Absolutely. Being born and raised in Chicago, it's a tremendous honor to just be home, to see so many familiar faces, to just see, Chicago come out in force and celebrate this genre, this show that brings people together in so many different ways. And if I can take just 1 second, what I would really love to say is, go Cubs.
Oh, man, I was hoping you said White Sox.
We don't have anything to share about this. Now, we talked a little bit about the different forms of dance, movement, and theater and music that kind of converge here during Stomp. We've got you, Renee, who's got that step background. We've got a lot of Latin polyrhythms at play here. We've got a lot of African dance at play here, a lot of modern dance at play here. Do you find that this is a learning experience for you if you've come from one particular background?
Yeah, it's like what Stomp does to anybody, no matter where you come from. Once you join Stomp, everybody's on the same playing field. Yeah. I don't care. You can be the best drummer in the world, or you can be the best dancer in the world. But when you come and join Stomp, you all are the same thing, because no one's trained to play a broomstick or a trash can. You know what I mean? So we're all on the same playing level. But when that journey happens, you can see how a drummer may pick up things rhythmically faster, but the dancer may make it look better on their body while they're doing it. So they work together, and the dancers teach the drummers, and the drummers teach the dancers. So that's how we have the show look the way it does.
Stomp runs from November 16th at the Broadway Playhouse at Water Tower Place, 175 East Chestnut. For tickets and more information, head on over to BroadwayInChicago.com. Artis Olds, Carlos Thomas, Krystal Renee, and Yvonne Salazar, thank you all so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.